Or that you guys can hear me. Make sure everything is loud and clear. So just give me a few seconds, then I'll dive into the topic. Let me see. Alright, so sorry for the double audio. Audio is good. So Joe Flacco has just been traded to the Broncos. I believe it's going to be for a mid-round pick. I don't believe they dived into the specifics yet, but I'm not exactly sure if this was a good move for them. They have Case Keenum already, um, and like I said, they just got Joe Flacco. And to me, there's two things. Well, there's really one thing that's the most important to me as far as a quarterback, besides accuracy and throwing power. And being able to learn new offenses and read the defense. I believe one of the most important things that a quarterback can have is great decision making skills. And I don't believe, at least based off what I have seen, that I don't believe Joe Flacco is a great decision maker. And a lot of ways you can measure the decision making is by their touchdown to interception ratio, in my opinion. Um, if we go ahead and look at Joe Flacco's stats, we know that he was the MVP. That year they won the Super Bowl against the 49ers. That playoffs he was tremendous. And that was in 2012. He had a completion percentage of 57%, which is you want it to be better, but in the playoffs the defense are playing, at their best. So, you kind of can understand that being a little bit low. I want my quarterbacks to be for completion percentage at least somewhere from 60 to 65% or better. But that playoffs he did throw for 1,000 yards and had 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and that's kind of not kind of that is the year that Joe Flacco was trending up as far as one of the better quarterbacks. He was having a great year. He led the team along with Ray Lewis and that great defense to a Super Bowl. But since then, it's really been downhill. Going back to 2012, that year, completion percentage was 59.7. He threw for 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Then immediately after, in the 2013 season, completion percentage was about the same, 59%. But he threw for 19 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. So to me, that shows me he wasn't making very great decisions. But going back to that 2014 season, he threw for 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. 2015, 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. 2016, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. 2017, 18 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. And then 2018, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Um, Now, some of you may be saying, well, wait, a lot of times the Ravens, their primary focus on an offense was to run the ball, which, okay, I understand that. But um, based off his average of throwing for about anywhere from almost 3,000 to 4,000 yards every year, that shows me that while their primary focus may have been to run the ball, there were situations obviously where you had to throw the ball, and a lot of times, more often than not, in those situations, he wasn't making great decisions. Um, so I don't know if I necessarily think this is a good trade for the Broncos. Also, I think maybe they should have focused more on defense, because if you look at this season, the Broncos had the 22 ranked defense in the NFL. Um, yes, they have Von Miller and a whole bunch of other pieces, but at the end of the day, you can only do so much with one player. And just based off the stats, your team was ranked the 22nd best defense in the NFL, which is not great. So for you to pick up Joe Flacco, which in my opinion, based off the stats again, is not a great decision maker, and you also have Case Keenum, is also not a great decision at all. Great decision maker either. I don't think it's a good decision for the Broncos at all. Looking at Case Keenum stats, and I'm just going to go off. seasons where he played at least. I'm just going to go back to the 2017 and 2018 season. Looking at um, his stats for 2017, he did have a great season when he threw for 22 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. But this year with the Broncos, 18 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Um, so I just don't see what the Broncos are trying to do right now. But I'm not an NFL GM. I'm just going off stats, numbers, what I see as a fan of the game, and definitely going to keep my eye out on this and see what's going to go on with this Joe Flacco trade and Case Keenum. Um, Case Keenum, I guess I'm pretty sure he's going to be the backup, or maybe there's going to be I know there's going to be a competition for who's going to be the starter. But you went ahead and traded for Joe Flacco. I can only assume that he's going to be a starter for this upcoming season. Um, Another thing that I want to talk about real quick is obviously this means that Lamar Jackson is taking over as the starting quarterback for Baltimore. He already had took over that role come the middle of the season last year, but it's not really a big enough sample size to. I don't know if I would have let go of Joe Flacco just yet, just because Lamar Jackson only played he played 16 games, but he only started 7 of them. In that record, he was 7-0. Well, he only played 7 games. I'm sorry. Let me double check something. Let me double check something. I believe he was 6-0. If I remember correctly, I believe he was 6-0. But um, he's not. To me, Lamar Jackson is not. He's not proven, obviously. Yes, he did go on a great run with that defense, but his touchdown to interception ratio, he had 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So I just don't know if I was the Ravens, if I would have let Joe Flacco go. But at the same time, you gave Joe Flacco plenty of time, and you kind of just want to show Lamar that, hey, this is your team. You can go ahead and relax. There's no pressure on you if you mess up. Just go ahead and do what you do and try to win in some games. I just don't know if this was the best move for the Ravens. Obviously, you have Lamar Jackson comparisons to Michael Vick or maybe even Russell Wilson. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see how this all plays out. Definitely rooting for Lamar and Joe Flacco and Case Keenum even to have successful and finish their careers on a positive. But I'm just a little bit confused about this trade for the Ravens and for the Broncos. But I guess as always, we'll see what happens, and I'll just tune in and talk about it.